Hello everybody, some more thoughts on evaluation, or more specifically meal, monitoring, evaluation, accountability and learning. So first of all, it's a big subject and it goes way beyond the scope of this course. So a good resource is the Meal DPro Starter website. There's a whole load of content there, it's all free. There's a guide, you can download it, etc., etc. So if it's an area you're interested in, I really do think it's the best place that I know to start learning a little bit more. A quick mention on demystification. All we are trying to do is answer that question, as I've said before, how are we going to know if we have been successful? Is it working? I mean, that's what we're trying to find out here. And it's been interesting. There have been a lot of comments on meal in the course. And I would divide them into two main areas. There's the we don't plan for meal, and then there's we don't do very much meal. And I appreciate that there's a crossover. So first of all, on planning, I actually think that planning for meal is really important. And it usually costs more than we assume, at least if we're going to do it well. Do we need to set up a baseline? Well, is there a baseline? And you say, what's a baseline? Well, it's just that measurement for one of your indicators. And it could be more than that. But if you need to develop it, that's got to be planned. Then are you going to do a midterm evaluation? Are you going to do a final one? Are you going to do an ex post evaluation? We were talking a little bit about that yesterday. How is the monitoring going to feed into the evaluation? What are you looking at in the monitoring? What are you looking at in the evaluation? And then the really interesting bit is, so what? You evaluate all of this stuff. So what? How is anybody going to learn from it? Is it going to be written up in some way? Are we going to make a video of it? Where does somebody else find the information before they design the next project? And again, if we don't plan it, this is very unlikely to happen. It'll be a tick box exercise, which doesn't help. And I've even heard people say, oh, meal, it's like an extractive industry. Come in from outside, ask lots of questions. So, people don't like it. And then they think it's more like an audit function, which it shouldn't be. And then we've got this group of questions around that, well, we don't do it very much. And there are a lot of reasons mentioned. But one of them that people have been very open about is that it's really difficult. Yep, I agree. There's no point pretending otherwise. Looking at the causality between work done and impact is hard. Even attribution is hard. That doesn't mean that we shouldn't do it. It means that we need to dedicate enough time and enough resources. We need to plan it. We need to really think about it. We may need to get other people involved. Because if we don't do much meal because it's difficult, then to some extent we are saying that we are not accountable for what we are doing. And I think that is problematic. The way that I look at this in some of these difficult, complex change areas, such as human rights, is when you're looking at the projects, you're trying to think, well, what is the behavior that you're trying to change? What does it look like when you've done it? All right. And then you can work back from there. But as I said, it's not easy. And going back to that first point, if we don't plan it, then it's very unlikely to happen. So here is a plug in your projects, whether it's you're doing it directly or whether it's with your grantees, to make sure that together you're all in the best position to answer that question. How will we know if it's been successful? And if you're working on an internal project, It's actually the same question. You're doing something, you're rolling out a system. So what? Why are you doing it? Not just to roll out a system, but it's so there is some sort of change. Well, it's the same question. How will you know if that change has been successful? Well, it's probably going to be looking at the behavior that you wanted. So if you know what the behavior is, you can then think, how are you going to measure it? Where are you going to find those indicators? So in that way that you see that monitoring, evaluation, accountability and learning is very much linked to all of that work we did at the beginning of project around design. Anyway, hope that was helpful. Bye for now.